everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thank you for being the faithful few that got up early so that we can keep on schedule this morning. And certainly, I appreciate your listening ears and your receptive spirits. Everybody is on their way, I'm sure. They are wrestling with that demon called sleep. And as soon as they win that wrestling match, they'll be on, I'm sure. All right. Our first order of business this morning, and we have several things that we want to conclude this morning that usually are in the afternoon, but we have some things that we have to talk about. The first order of business is that of the minutes and the approval of the minutes. If you would come on, Madam Secretary and Secretarial Staff, so that we might approve or have the desires of the conference for the minutes. You had minutes, you received the minutes last night, did you not?
Yes.
Did you have a chance to read it? Mm-hmm. And so let's see if we can they are fairly short. Yeah. With your permission, I'll let it go on, and so once skip around, let it go on and read until we get to those areas that we know that we have no need to bring in official records like the worship services and such. Come on with the business and let's read as far as we can read.
The 158th session of the Virginia Annual Conference, Day 2, Business Session 1. The candidates for ministry led the conference in worship and praise. The Bible expository was led by Reverend Tricia Thomas. The text was Isaiah, chapter 61, verses 1 through 3, and her topic was To Be Real. Bishop James L. Davis called Day 2, Session 1 of the 158th session of the Virginia Annual Conference at 8:31 a.m. Bishop called for the reading of the minutes from Day 1. The Secretary of the Conference, Reverend Dr. Eugenia Bowser, read the minutes from Day 1 of the 158th session of the Virginia Annual Conference. The following corrections were made. Reverend Lisa Little submitted the necessary paperwork requesting to leave the denomination. Reverend Andrea Cornett Scott noticed a correction that the minutes should read that Sisters Tiffany Lee Jefferson and Sister Keisha Wilson were elected to be ordained itinerant deacons. Bishop stated that Reverend Douglas Strand should read elected to be ordained. Reverend Billy Hunter made the correction that the first 9 rows in the center aisle rather than 12 rows constitutes the boundaries for the conference. Sister Tiffany Jefferson's topic for the sermon at the Night and White service should have been This Light of Mine. Bishop Davis stated that the minutes should reflect that Brother Joseph Barden raised the question, don't you think this would be a good time to have an audit, rather than Brother Barden requesting an audit. Bishop Davis stated that the conferences are not audited. All monies are reported to the Episcopal District, and the district is audited annually. Bishop Davis offered a public apology to Presiding Elder Haywood concerning the financial report for the Portsmouth-Richmond Roanoke District. Bishop Davis confirmed that the retirement money was reduced, as well as the figure for the General Conference ostentation. He apologized for anyone that took it as a personal dispersion, because that was not his intent. Property deeds and abstract, found on page 11 of your booklet. Reverend Richard Green presented the report. Bishop Davis asked the committee if they have received the deeds for the properties in recommendation 3. Mount Zion AME in Claremont, Virginia, Marshall Chapel in Lynchburg, Virginia, New Haven in Ferrum, Virginia, Max Meadows AME Westville, Virginia, Lovettsville, Virginia, St. James AM Prospect, Virginia, Mount Zion AME Church in Surrey County, Virginia. The committee confirmed that they do have the deeds. Reverend Billy Hunter moved the report to be accepted with the necessary corrections. It was seconded by Reverend Christian Savage. Reverend Bernard Holmes questioned what was intended by the statement that the properties were referred to conference trustees. Bishop Davis stated that the churches were only listed because the committee collected the deeds. The motion was carried. Missions, circuits, and stations. report on page 19. Reverend Olivia Collins read the report and noted that there was an addendum. The committee recommended the merger of Allen Chapel Stanton and Christ Our Redeemer Stanton. The proposed new name would be Allen Chapel / Christ Our Redeemer AME Church. Bishop Davis gave the two pastors time to comment on the process. Reverend Scott praised Reverend Cornette Scott for her hard work at Christ Our Redeemer. Both congregations are excited to merge. Reverend Cornette Scott stated that Christ Our Redeemer has made a positive impact in the community. She thanked Bishop Davis for making sure that the students have money and books to sustain their education. Sister Destiny Woodall, a steward at Christ Our Redeemer, was given an opportunity to speak. She thanked the Reverend Scotts as mentors as well as being her pastor. Reverend Amy Christine Hodge moved that the report be accepted. It was seconded by Reverend Dr. Kenneth Ruff. The motion carried. Bishop Davis also expressed his excitement. Board of Trustees report on page 3. Reverend Andre Jefferson Sr. read the report. Presiding Elder Haywood III moved that the report be accepted. It was seconded by Reverend John Swan Jr. Brother Barton raised an unreadiness. He asked what questions were taken when the deeds were transferred to the Board of Trustees in 2023. Bishop stated that the Property Deeds and Abstracts Committee only collected the deeds and oversees and abstracts, and the Board of Trustees doesn't need to take any action. The Board of Trustees oversees the upkeep of the properties. The motion was carried. Bishop Davis stated that the board did a great job. Reverend Andre Jefferson Sr. took a point of privilege to state that Marshall Chapel AME is now a vacant lot, and that the hope is that it will be a great valuation from the land. Bishop Davis states that the trustees were wise enough to hold on to the property and project something better for the conference. Reverend Bernard Holmes questioned if the conference would benefit from this property. Bishop Davis emphasized that resources went to pay off the building on Pennsylvania Avenue, but the mortgage has been liquidated, therefore it no longer is an issue. Presiding Elder apportionment. Reverend Vanessa Copeland, the chair of the committee, recommended that there will be no official increase this conference year. Bishop Davis encouraged the conference to show their appreciation to the presiding elders for their kind leadership. Cemetery Perpetual Care Ministry. Reverend Michael Gray read the action items. Reverend Matthew Shannon moved that we accept the report as read with any necessary corrections. Reverend Kevin Wilson seconded the motion. The motion was carried. Bishop Davis emphasizes establishing rules and regulations. He encourages the churches to establish a board to oversee the cemetery and ensure that the district and local guidelines are being followed. SED Inter-District Banking System. Presiding Elder Jonathan Weaver of the Washington Conference and Reverend Dr. Gail Henderson, representing the Virginia Conference on the board, presented the SED should be Inter-District Banking System. It will be owned by the Second Episcopal District and will have its own board. The purpose of the system is to allow churches within the district an opportunity to borrow funds. This will especially benefit churches that have been denied loans. The committee will be comprised by persons from each conference. Bishop Davis opened the floor for questions. Brother Timothy Ferguson asked what guardrails will be in place to ensure the money invested is actually protected. Elder Weaver responded that the conference would determine who is on the committee and the board of directors. Reverend Ritchie asked if this would be a loan company or a bank. Elder Weaver responded that it does not have a title at this time. Brother Barton raised concerns about financial obligations and the local church. Elder Weaver's response was that there will be terms and conditions when a request is made. Counseling and giving advice if the church is unable to handle the loan. Reverend Bernard Holmes asked if it would be solely limited to churches. Both Elder Weaver and Bishop Davis confirmed that it would be only for the churches in the Second Episcopal District. Presiding Elder Samuel E. Hayward III made the motion to adopt the idea of the interbanking system. It was seconded by Reverend Douglas Bynum. The motion was carried with one opposed. Elder Weaver made the appeal for the conference to invest in the Second Episcopal District Inter-District Banking System. Opening and Holy Sacrament Worship Service. Bishop James Herbert Davis and clergy of the Virginia Annual Conference processed into the Hampton Ballroom for the opening and Holy Sacrament Worship Service. Reverend Dr. Amy Christine Hodge preached a soul-stirring sermon entitled Believe. Her text is from Philippians, the 4th chapter, verses 10 through 13. The Spirit was high, and she challenged us to change our perspective and look at our priorities. Bishop Davis led the conference into Holy Communion. Day 2, Session 2. The conference reconvened at 3 p.m. Bishop Davis recognized Reverend Barrington Ross, who greeted the conference. He is a candidate for Episcopal service. CDC update. Reverend Locksley O'Connor.
Before you go any further, I think it might be to our best interest to deal with them by section so that if there are any necessary corrections or modifications, you won't have to go so far back. Let's deal with the opening session of day 2. You've heard those minutes. Can I get your pleasure upon day 2, session 1?
I so hope Bishop that we pass the minutes with any necessary corrections that have.
It's been properly moved that the minutes be adopted with the necessary corrections. Yes, I saw Reverend Scott second the motion. You read the motion, ready for the question. All right. Are there any unreadiness? I know that you're just waking up. Let's go down to the third. I think the third paragraph on page 1 of the minutes. We've made the correction as it relates to the status of Reverend Lisa Little, but Reverend McCrady's name was a part of that as well. Same reason, same point. If you go down to the paragraph that's, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
The reason why I just used it from the middle because it was incorrect in the minutes. But I don't think it was incorrect. I didn't have it as being incorrect in the original minutes.
Well, I thought in the original minutes you said that he was requested to, I don't know, but you check it, and both of them should be read the same way. And this is the correct verbiage for it. If you go down to the paragraph, it says Bishop Davis offers a public apology. Okay, so that part is fine. Go over to the next page. In the report on page, on the second page, report of the Board of Trustees. I think you might want to put in that whole explanation because as the question that Reverend Bernard Holmes posed, it was posed around the scenario of a approved plan that was approved during the time that we were raising money for the payoff of the mortgage. I don't think that we have put enough in here so that the reader tomorrow or next month will know what was actually said. I would think we need to elaborate more to make clear that the question was based, the statement was based on yesterday's agreement, and that part was over. The new plan. And then I need you also to put in the last statement that was said, and that was, you will be receiving a plan of action that may take you back to that agreement, which was the plan for the interbanking system. But I think that in order to make sure that readers in days yet to come, particularly the new administration, would really understand what was going on here. And I don't think you have enough here to help make that clear. In the paragraph that almost ends this page, on page 3, where it talks about cemetery perpetual care, it is encouraged, if possible, that you have the cemeteries. It is encouraged, not mandatory, but it is encouraged possibly that if you have cemeteries, you might want to talk about separating them into their own separate corporation so that you have a veil of protection from any liabilities that would ultimately come after the church. And that was said on yesterday as well. If you, and let me know if I'm going too fast for you. If you go to the page number 4, where you have Dr. Gail Henderson representing the Virginia Conference on the board. There has not been a board formed. This is the planning committee, which there's representation for the whole planning committee. There's not been a board formed at all because it has not been formally exercised as an entity yet until we get through this series of annual conferences and get to the planning meeting where you have something to approve. I think at the end of that, though this is not a part of your minutes today, I think the treasurer wants to give us the amount of what was collected in this conference for the interbanking, so that it will become a part of this record. I have suggested to the committee that one of the things that the conferences may want to consider as it relates to access to resources from what I believe you will ultimately see as a blessing is percentage access. That if, for instance, and they may or may not choose to do it, but for instance, if a conference has invested 3% into the total of what is done, then they have 3% of the access to the loaning, to the lending possibilities. And that's access not to what you put in, but access to whatever it grows to, based on your initial faith investment in this process. But that's really left up to them. But do you have that figure before you?
It's $3,370. $3,370.
That's what you put on the table yesterday.
Yes, sir.
$3,370 as your initial investment into this interbanking system.
And then a couple of people said they're going to donate some more today.
Well, that's the, a total of, and that because you didn't have the online piece. Ms. Benjamin has informed me that the treasurer has told her that the money that came in online raises your contribution to your investment to $3,800 even, and that's what your contribution in the initial investment process is doing. Okay. And so, if there are no other corrections or additions, all those in favor of the approval of the first session of the second day, let it be known, say aye. Aye. Opposers, nay. Ayes have it, and so ordered. Thank you so very much. Would you go now to the second session?
Day 2, Session 2. The conference reconvened at 3 p.m. Bishop Davis recognized Reverend Barrington Ross, who greeted the conference. He is a candidate for Episcopal service. CDC update. Reverend Loxley O'Connor, Reverend Dr. Loxley O'Connor, and Reverend Billy Hunter, Virginia Conference representative on the board, updated the conference on the financial status for the year 2023. The mortgage was paid off in 2023. The building is in good financial condition. They have formed partnerships within the community and have been awarded 2 grants. Reverend Dr. O'Connor said the district should be thankful for our visionary leader for daring to believe. Bishop Davis thanked Reverend Dr. Loxley O'Connor and Reverend Dr. Lee P. Washington for their leadership. Portsmouth Richmond Roanoke District virtual reports. The Virginia Conference celebrated with pastors and churches of the Portsmouth Richmond Roanoke District as they gave their reports. Ministerial Efficiency Committee. Reverend Dr. Aretha Frost made the report. The committee reported the following. Reverend Michael McCray has left the denomination. It has been requested by the committee that he surrender his ordination credentials. Reverend Lisa Little desires to withdraw from the denomination. It has been requested by Bishop Davis that she surrender her ordination credentials. 6 clergy members have requested to superannuate. Reverends Samuel Haywood III, Althea Haywood, Gwendolyn Minor, Marie McCoy, Jennifer Horton, and Ottilia Osan. The committee recommends that the conference grants their request. The committee recommends that Reverend Michael McCray and Lisa Little's names be removed from the Virginia Annual Conference roll. Reverend Christian Savage moved that the report be accepted. It was seconded by Reverend Matthew Shannon. The motion carried. Bishop Davis requested that the committee document from the doctrine and discipline of the AME Church. Women's Missionary Society. Sister Rita Willis read the recommendations that each church adopts a classroom and climate change partnership. The district president, Sister Solaria Moore, announced the newly elected president, Sister Deborah White, and YPD director, Sister Miranda Roundtree. Bishop Davis commended Sister Rita Willis for her hard work and the loving gesture for Supervisor Davis. Lay organization. President Lawrence Butler asked the conference to build partnerships with young adult representatives. Women in ministry. New officers are Coordinator Reverend Marilyn Medley, Conference Secretary Reverend Tricia Thomas, Treasurer Reverend Olivia Collins, Worship Leader Reverend Sabrina McCormick, Historiographer Reverend Marvette Hines Dupree, North Eastern Shore Caucus Leader Reverend Yolanda Blow, Portsmouth Richmond Roanoke District Caucus Leader Reverend Charlotte Ritchie. Sons of Allen. Reverend Andre Jefferson Sr., Coordinator, made the following recommendations: that each church with no active Sons of Allen ministry organize and that they meet once a month. He also encouraged the men in their church to attend monthly Virginia Conference virtual Sons of Allen meetings and to establish a men's Bible study in their local church. The PKs, Sister Priscilla Wilson encouraged all clergy family members to be involved in their initiatives. She invited members of the organization to a self-care retreat in September in West Winchester, Virginia. Abandoned property. Reverend Timothy Johnson read the report. Bishop Davis asked if they had a legal description of the property. He also asked if they had the tax bills and where were the tax bills being sent. He stated that the bills should be going to the Episcopal headquarters. He asked that the information be given by the planning meeting. Bishop Davis stated that the Lynchburg property is not for sale. Reverend Matthew Shannon moved that the report be accepted, was seconded by Reverend Kevin Wilson. There was an unreadiness on the floor. Brother Barton asked if there was a price for the property. Bishop Davis said not at this time it was being explored. The motion was carried. State of the country. Reverend Dr. Edward Scott read the report. Bishop Davis opened the floor for comments. Bishop Davis praised Dr. Scott for his scholarship. State of the church. Reverend Dr. Kenneth Ruff read the report. Bishop asked all veterans to stand and thank them for their service. Bishop Davis asked Presiding Elder Emeritus Paul Atkins to sing for the conference. The elder sang "Still Away," and he received a standing ovation. The conference recessed at 5:45 p.m. The Virginia Annual Conference held their annual late-night worship service. The speaker was Brother Matthew Douglas, 2nd Episcopal District lay president. His topic was a matter of perspective, and the text was from Numbers 13, 1 through 2, verses 17 through 9, and verses 25 through 33. Faithfully submitted.
All right, what is your pleasure?
Bishop Jeselnik, I move that we approve the minutes with this information.
All right. Let me get it on the
Second.
floor first. Reverend Wilson. Reverend Wilson, moved by Reverend Nick, seconded by Reverend Wilson. You've heard the motion, ready for the question, now y'all ready to listen.
The question goes back to ministerial efficiency report. And my concern is how.
Give him a mic so the folk can hear him.
My question goes back to the ministerial efficiency report and how do we report people that have left the denomination? Is it the bishop or to
Maybe,
what is the process? I think that we should be judicious about anyone that has left the denomination and started another church or gone to another denomination, that they remove our roles.
Thank you. I'm not, I thought we had been, if we had had a request from anyone to leave the denomination, I thought we had been handling it appropriately by referring it to the ministerial efficiency. If we had such an official notice, have we not been doing that? I thought we had, where we had an official notice of a person leaving or that pastor so stating that they have left the denomination, one or the other. If you could bring us to any other kind of recognition, I'm more than happy to deal with that.
Specifically, Reverend Vernon Ricks has started with the church. He's no longer in the church, if he started in the church. And I can only say in the Washington Annual Conference, when one of the pastors left the church and stuff, a senior pastor that had served more than 30 years in the church, he had to turn his credentials in.
Well, if they have requested to be relieved of their responsibility in relationship, and I don't know how, I don't know, you probably know better than I do how you deal with that. I don't know how you deal with a retired clergy. I don't know how you deal with a retired clergy. And so if you find something that you want to bring to my attention other than a request on the part of the person, I'm more than happy to do it. I'm just ignorant of how you manage it. I don't know how to do that. So you just have to help me to know how to do that when a person is retired. I think part of the integrity of any situation, if I'm no longer in a relationship, I don't want to be introduced as being in a relationship. That's personal integrity, but I can't force that on anyone else. So you tell me, and I'm willing to listen to you.
And the example I'm giving was under Bishop Anderson when Reverend Lipscomb left and started a new church.
Were they retired?
He was retired and he was required to turn his
Did he send in a request?
I don't know that.
See, I don't know
that he
either.
was required to turn his papers in. He did turn them in.
Yeah. If in fact, if someone sends a letter, I have my personal feelings, but I just don't know what the law, I don't know anything in the law that allows anything to happen. I don't know that. I will put that before the council and see what the council says. I don't know. You know more about that than I do. I don't know. I don't know how to do that. I made the observation, and I'm sure the conference can make a judgment through a motion here that I will certainly carry out. Look, if the person sends a request to disconnect, or if there is a judicial process that requires disconnection, or any of that, I know how to do that. I know how to do that. If a person is retired and they haven't sent in a formal request to disconnect, my logical understanding would be, if you don't want to be married anymore, sign the certificate, tell me that we're divorced. But I can't assume that. What I did do was to stop a courtesy check from going to any of those persons who are no longer a part of us, and in terms of their working relationship somewhere else, because it doesn't carry the same significance. The reason we started to have this sacrificial gift made to retirees is because we wanted to let them know how much we appreciated their service yesterday. And certainly if you logically, if you got a new family and you take that new family now, and especially if you're trying to go back in my bank account to take care of your new family, then I got something to say about that, But anything official about it, I don't know what to do about it. If you find something in writing, then bring it to me, because I acknowledge my ignorance, and that part I'm ignorant about. I have my feelings about it, because I definitely put you out of my house if you live with another man. I tell you got to go, but I don't know. It's not relative to be like that. And if the conference has a feeling about it, and you want to put it in the form of a motion, I'll entertain the motion. But don't make me bail the cat for what you want to do. I'm willing to carry out what you want to do, but you need to say that. Are there any other readiness to this?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Sabrina Christian, delegate from St. Paul Newport News. At last night's service, we also installed new officers. Should that not be noted in the minutes?
Surely. And if you will get the names of the new officers and their positions, I'm sure the secretarial staff will make sure they get into the record. And that was some kind of message last night too. I mean, we had enough preaching and speaking and listening. Last night, any other unreadiness?
Bishop, excuse me, I'm sorry. Just a note of correction. The song is steal, S-T-E-A-L, like you steal something. Steal away, not steal away. It's written as still and not steal.
Okay.
I did not know that. Thank you. I am certainly smarter today. Thank you so much.
Steal, S-T-A-L, like you stole something.
Okay. And I thought you were saying it was different. I thought it was steal too, like S-T,
Like steal, you steal?
No.
It's written in the minutes, S-T-I-L-L.
I see. So I'm not any smarter than
you
that.
understand.
I'm still the same IQ. All right. I think too that it's noteworthy of this conference to put in the minutes, after hearing the state of the church, state of the country, that you asked that
Yes.
this message somehow gets to Be Connectional Church. And I think it is noteworthy to note that an offer has been made, the encouragement and offer has been made to Dr. Scott to insert it appropriately and where it can be inserted into the Episcopal address, which an offer has been made to him, and he should have received it last night. All right. All those in favor, let it know by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, that's nay. Ayes have it, and so ordered. Thank you so much for your input. All right. Thank the Secretary of Staff. And I tell you, bad English. Y'all own it, doggone it. I'm telling you. Thank you so much.